All right. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. It is a little bit warmer today, and that is much needed. It feels like it's been the longest spring ever, even though it's only April 12th.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I told that to Bailey, and she's like, spring has barely started. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but it feels like it should have at least been warm for a little bit.
Yeah. It's about good camping weather right now.
Yeah. That's what we get for living in Ohio.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us and for, we're just going to get right into it.
Cool.
The first article that I have, I found this was pretty interesting. The student loan extension the student loan deferral was extended again, which, like I understand that there's a lot of inflation and economic issues right now. It makes me wonder how long they can keep this up.
Yeah.
Because it also increases the national debt, and I know that we're talking about people here and people who have financial problems. But how long do you think we can just keep this up as is?
Yeah. It's I don't know. I guess my question would be: is it wise to just keep floating out there and not paying your bills? Eventually, there's got to be an end, right?
Yeah, and I'll get to what I was kind of thinking about that, but it looks like right now the extension is pushed out to August 31st, which happens to be my birthday.
Ooh.
Yeah, so enjoy your last day of not having to pay student loans on my birthday. But the thing that I think is at least beneficial to people with this whole extension thing is like, this is the time, if you're able to pay extra, this is the time to get those loans paid off. Because according to this article, it says right here that pushes out the total number of months without payments to 30 months, which is well over 2 years.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 years. So if you're actually able to put extra money towards your student loans, then this is the time, because you don't have to deal with as much interest.
Yeah.
So
I'll play devil's advocate here. Is there talk of them just eradicating all of them then?
There is. There's always been some talk.
Has been, yeah.
Yeah, especially with the latest, with the presidency, with the switch over to President Biden. But one of the things at the end of one of these articles was, it says that, you can always keep hope alive, but it's still unclear whether widespread loan forgiveness will ever happen. There's so much disagreement about debt, but you'd be wise to not count on your student loan obligation being wiped out or greatly reduced. And I thought that was a great point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially from NerdWallet, which, I'm going to say, generally speaking, a lot of online articles are going to be a little bit more slanted towards the liberal and progressive mindset. And that is just forgive all the student loans. And whether you agree with that or not, I think they make a good point. Even with a Democrat in presidency, it's a really bad idea to plan, or at least hope for, just getting your student loans completely forgiven.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that statement. I know you will agree with what I'm about to say, and where I come from on this matter. But there's probably some people who would say, well, just invest that money, and then if it happens to come up that you need to pay your bills, then you've made money on the interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's another way of doing it, but that's, in my opinion, gambling.
Yeah, well, on this channel, I had you and your wife come on and talk about how you paid off your house, super early. And a lot of people use that exact same reasoning for
Yep.
a home too. They're like, oh, why would you pay it off if you can invest that money and then get more money over the same period of time because you have a low interest loan, relatively speaking,
Yeah.
with your house. So I think that's a good point.
Yep.
All right, so we got another one. This is one of the ones that you came up with.
Yeah, so this was interesting to me. Used car prices are still sky high, but they may be easing. So if you slip to that next slide there's a graph showing used car prices, specifically in the last 2 years. Obviously, there's a large effect on that because of the chip shortage.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found interesting, though, in the article was that you hear about the trucks, the truck chip shortage. And really, I think that's a little skewed because this article was detailing how car manufacturers have actually moved away from producing the smaller cars as a result. So it's actually not just a chip shortage for trucks and SUVs. It's a chip shortage in general. It just happens to be that they're only manufacturing the cars that specifically happen to create the best profit margins for them, which is a smart financial move for them, I guess. But for me, I'm not going to go out and buy a $90,000, GMC Suburban or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a little much. But yeah, so interesting there. I was just playing around. I bought a used truck a little over a year ago, and I was on Kelley Blue Book, and it's increased in value significantly since I bought it.
Yeah.
So that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
One thing I've seen, though, heard and seen, is a lot of people saying, well, the used car prices are up. I can sell I can trade my truck in for the same amount I bought it for 2 years ago and get a new truck. It's like, that's okay, that's fine, but we both know that those kinds of people are going out and that new truck is actually, raising their payment each month. So I would say that's not wise.
Yeah. Plus, I just had a video on here just a couple weeks ago where I interviewed our pastor, Derek Hurst, who used to actually work as a car salesman. And he's talking about how a lot of dealerships are actually jacking up their prices beyond the MSRP, like higher than the MSRP on new cars.
Yeah.
And he said it's not illegal and it's not wrong because it's just the suggested price based on the manufacturer at the time that it was made. Well, right now, car prices are so insane that it actually makes sense for them to raise the MSRP. Well, I mean, that's you can sell your used car and then go get a new car, but you're still paying a much higher price for the new car. So it really doesn't make that great of financial sense. Did you have any other?
Yeah, so this is the same article. On average, used vehicles are historically expensive. The index is down from its record high in January, but it remains up 36.7%. So yeah, it's come down a little bit. So the article didn't detail why that is, but yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this?
No, we've covered that one there.
Okay. All right. This was one of the ones that I came up with. So I thought that this was interesting. The first thing that I thought when I saw this article was I was thinking it was just talking about the tax deadline, just getting your taxes filed by April 18th, which is obviously important. But it's not actually talking about that. It's talking about the estimated taxes. So a lot of people, especially in the last 2 years, have started to do have joined the gig economy. And a lot of those gig economy jobs like DoorDash and Uber, and I could very well be wrong on some of these, but a lot of them are actually 1099 jobs, which when that gets filed with the IRS, it actually counts as like your own business, your own small business. And since those taxes don't actually get withheld by the larger company, then because you're essentially a contractor, then that is actually going to make your tax bill much higher. And if you're beyond, as the article says here later on, if you're beyond $1,000, oh gosh, okay, I don't have it in here. So if you're beyond $1,000 that you owe to the IRS, then it's actually going to cause penalties. So you have to have these estimated payments throughout the year, these quarterly estimated payments, to make sure that you don't owe the IRS more than $1,000. So basically, the point of the article is make sure that you have your estimated payments taken care of for the 2022 year, because the first payment is due on April 18th.
Okay.
And so it goes on to kind of detail the ways that you can avoid this. One of the ways is you can make those quarterly estimated payments through the IRS direct pay. So you can do that before the 18th without trying to, get stuff in the mail in time. And you can also take your 2021 tax return, assuming that you've already gotten your taxes done, and you can just look at what the amount that you owed the IRS, if you owed them anything, and if it's over $1,000, and if you assume that your taxes are going to be about the same as last year, then you can just take the amount that you owed, split it up in 4 equal parts, and then just send that into the IRS as your quarterly estimated payment. And this was something that Bailey and I actually did last year, because the year before last year, her taxes were kind of screwed up, or her withholding taxes were kind of screwed up from her job. They weren't withholding enough, and so we owed a lot to the IRS. Well, the way that we handled this last year, instead of, we did pay estimated payments, but I was afraid that it wasn't going to be enough. So what I actually ended up doing was I used the withholding estimator tool on the IRS's website, and you can estimate how much, based on how much you've paid so far, you can estimate how much you're going to owe for the rest of the year, and then just change your withholding taxes from your company so that it's actually accurate. And I think that that's probably the easiest way to fix the possible issue of owing the IRS or getting penalized for not paying estimated taxes, because you can always change your withholding taxes in the latter part of the year if you have to, and just make sure that it's just overcompensating the amount that you have to have withheld, just to make sure you don't get penalized for it. So
yeah, it's good to keep an eye on that. We both have been in that boat before.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in recent years.
Yeah. Yes. Back to back.
Yeah. Okay. So this was a kind of an interesting one. I pulled this up. It's a question about whether a cat or a dog makes more financial sense. So the question is, what do you think?
Well, when I was reading this, I had to think, what is the cost benefit ratio here?
Okay.
And I thought, okay, well, I'll just let you do your slides.
Full disclosure, we're both dog owners.
Yes.
I do have a cat, but it's an outdoor cat.
Yeah.
So
enough said for now.
Yeah. Anyways, so going on, I was shocked by this number. It says that a lot of dog owners, clearly me included, don't know that fixing a broken leg can run between $3,000 to $6,000.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yes.
I haven't thought about that at all. I mean, like, we have a budget line item for the dog, but that is terrifying.
It's like 3 new dogs right there.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 new of your dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
And way more than that for my dog.
For your dog, yeah.
That is, not a golden poodle?
Yeah, I have a city dog.
Yeah.
Caleb has more of a farm dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going on, it says cat owners said their first time costs ranged between $695 and $3,100, including adoption fees. That still surprised me.
Yeah, so the cat thing kind of surprised me. The cat numbers actually surprised me.
It was definitely higher than I was expecting. I thought going into this article, I figured that, owning a cat would be less expensive than owning a dog, which I'm right. but still, that was way more expensive than I was expecting.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I just viewed them as a very, self-reliant animal.
Yeah. And then it goes on to say that dog owners paid first-time costs ranging from $1,050 to $4,480, which is probably kind of, I mean, the lower end of that is probably kind of close to where you were at, right?
Yeah.
And so total with upfront costs, annual essentials, and optional extras, which is like grooming or anything like that, then it's showing cats being about 2600 to 8,000, and dogs being about 2,700 to 12,000, which, I mean, that's over the life of the animal, but it's pretty crazy what we do for our pets.
Yeah, a lot of my wife's purchases fall under optional extras.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is one that you had.
So this is an article that I found. We've talked about, the Great Resignation in our videos. And so this was an interesting article. The war for talent continues. 40% of recent job switchers are again looking for a new position. So, a few points here on the next slide. 21% of American workers took a new job in the past 12 months, which I found that to be astounding. That's more than I thought.
Yeah, and that's millions upon millions upon millions.
Yeah. Of them, 40% are actively looking for another job. And that comes to the next point, why. When they switched, the survey found that they got an increase of pay of at least 10%. I have a notion that maybe, in the last year, if they've switched a job, I don't know if they're switching for more money again. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, continuous surveys as they come out. But
yeah, especially because 10%, you look at, it's like 10%, that's nice. But I just heard on the radio this morning that the consumer price index, I think, showing the interest rate in the last year is up to 8.5%. I mean, that's basically the equivalent of these people getting a 1.5% raise compared to the everyday costs that they're seeing in their budget.
Yeah,
which is not that impressive. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy. So it does make me wonder the same as you, if this is just them, if these people are looking for another job, if it's because of the inflation rate right now.
Or was the grass just not greener on the other side?
Maybe not. I just changed jobs, and I'm hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the last of our articles right here. So make sure you like and comment and subscribe. And please actually let us know what you think about some of these articles, because we have two perspectives here, but there are an unlimited of perspectives on the internet. And if there's ever a topic that you think would actually be interesting, then drop it in the comments down below, because I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, learn about it.
Yeah, and learn about it, and we can cover it on the next one.
Yeah.
So we will see you later.